It's the Smooth Breakfast on Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life on a Thursday morning. Ayokunmi here, ready to take you into the world of business on Business Express. This morning, we're going to be having a conversation centered around electricity. Well, that has been in the news in the last couple of days. The grid collapsing here and there. The Minister of Power talking, um, putting together commissions and all that of inquiry and so on and so forth. But today we're going to be talking about metering. Yes, that is something that is also big in the minds and in the hearts of Nigerians as well. And this is based on the report that says that 85.2% of Nigerian households use estimated billing. That's according to the National Bureau of Statistics. And they also revealed that the average monthly expenditure of households on electricity was estimated at about 4,155 naira in the period under review. Now, just looking at that, only 14.8% of Nigerian households are on prepaid billing. That is a very, very poor number by any metric or any standard that you want to look at it. So we'll be talking about that this morning. Joining me to take a look at this is Daisy Erharhire. She is the POS and Business Banking Team Lead at Raven Bank. Good morning to you, Daisy. Welcome once again to Business Express.
Good morning, Ayo. Good morning, Lagos. Glad to be here once again.
And glad to have you. I mean, to talk about this very, very, I don't know how to even put it, situation concerning, um, concerning the metering of Nigerians. And if you're listening to us right now, please come through and of course share your messages and your thoughts with us on WhatsApp on 0809 444 0981. 0809 444 0981. Sister Delgado says, I have 2% is 2%. No, I think 85.2% are on estimated billing, not 2%. And she's supposed to
Mm,
very absurd. Well, it's absurd, like I said, by any metric that you want to measure it, really. But you know what, Daisy? Let's jump into this right now. I mean, what are your thoughts to start with? I mean, 85.2% are on estimated billing, only 14.8 are on prepaid billing. And it's crazier
mm.
for me because I've been exposed to prepaid billing. I mean, for the past how many years? I think before 2010 or thereabouts. I think
Oh,
maybe the
wow.
first wave of prepaid meters came through, and then we got those, and then there was a spread. Payment was spread over a period of time while we were recharging.
Mm,
So that's when it was taken off. That was 2008 or thereabouts. This is 2024, and we're still only at 14.8%. Talk to us
mhm.
about this.
Okay, so when I saw the news, I was wondering how they did this year's survey because, like you said, you have been using prepaid meter for as far back as 2010. That's a really long time, yeah. And I'm also aware that upon the recent hike in energy in tariff, a lot of people, at least within my circle that I know of so far, most of the people in my circle actually switched to using prepaid meters
Mm,
because we've had in the past cases of, the NEPA officials bringing bills of how much you've consumed the previous month, and you're wondering when, how many appliances do I have in my house? So how
mm,
did it sum up to this amount? So, with that in mind, most persons had to switch to like prepaid meters, even though, of course, it's not something that some landlords um, would opt for because purchasing those prepaid meters are actually expensive for them. And obviously, we would not want you guys to add that cost to our rents as well. So, if you ask me, I mean, my band A users, I know how they've been crying since this whole height thing, and
mm.
how we've been consciously, managing, our units so that we don't exceed a certain amount every month. So like I said, I'm not really sure of how they put this figures together. But to the best of my knowledge, I do know that a lot of people have actually switched to, at least within Lagos, yeah, a lot of people have actually switched to prepaid meter because we want to monitor how much we consume. We want to have an estimate of, okay, this is how much I want to spend on electricity this month. So at least let me be using my eye to be seeing it, right? If you used to leave your light, your electricity light on before going out, whether it's an energy saving light or not, you're turning it off when you're going
Turn it
out.
off.
So you don't have, so that you don't come back and you're wondering, okay, how did this jump from so units to this unit, right? And even if you even have refrigerators or your fridge turned on throughout the night, if you're not going to be out like most of the day, you find yourself even turning it off. And I'm like, okay, when I come back from work, I can always turn it on. Basically, just to ensure that we are ones monitoring our units. So, like I said, this survey seems not to be. I feel like the survey, the figures are not like accurate. But then, I mean, if this is what they say it is, then I guess there's still a lot of us that yet to, opt into this option of using prepaid meters, which, if you ask me, like I said, it's the best option. At least you know what you're using, what you're consuming, you're seeing it.
Mm,
So yeah, that's my
mm.
thought anyway.
Exactly. I mean, just to piggyback off what you mentioned about turning off freezers and all that. I mean, that is something that I do at home. During the day,
Yeah.
the freezers are turned off. At a particular time in the morning, turn the freezer off. At night, turn it back on, let it work. In the morning, turn it off again. But it's just very, should I say, risky to do that because of the
Yeah.
incessant grid collapses. Now, imagine you turn off your freezer
Yeah.
all through the day, and then at night the grid collapses. So that means your freezer hasn't worked all through the day, and then at night there's no
Yeah.
power again. So it's
Yeah.
it's a game of Russian roulette at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And talking about estimated billing, the way the figures have jumped up astronomically. I know people who have been using estimated billing for a while, and the difference in between what they used to pay and what they're required to pay now, it makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. So
So it means
even
there's
though
there's been a hike. There's been an increase.
there has been an increase. There has
Okay.
been an increase in the amount of money that even those who are using estimated billing are having to
Mm-hmm.
pay right now. So it is just bonkers across board when you look about it, when
Yeah.
you look at it really. But let's look at some more numbers here, DC. Just just give us an idea of the average monthly expenditure on electricity for Nigerian households and what percentage are actually, should I say, connected to that grid at the end of the day.
So according to the article, the survey shows that the average cost on energy for us is 4,115 naira. And I'm wondering, is that actually possible? Like on an average, you get to spend 4,000 because I don't think I've heard anyone paying anything less than 10K, like around that range in a long time for energy. So coming up with the survey to even say that this is the average you spend, then anyway, I mean, they're also saying that only 58% of us are connected to the national grid. So it means that the remaining 42%, we are either using solar, firewood, charcoal, still running kerosene, or running our generator. Yeah. So,
Mm,
but I mean, either way, except for those using solar inverters, which I think, to the best of my knowledge, I recently someone explained how he has been using solar for a very long time. I think for about 2 years, and he can't really remember the last time he had to depend on the Nigerian electricity. So, which is actually I mean, that was like a good insight. Like, okay, maybe everybody should just switch to that. But then, if the remaining 42% are using solar, kerosene, I do know that once in a while at least you still get to use the general electricity, at least especially for businesses. I mean, you're not going to keep running generators every day because considering how things are now increasing every day, that's going to be too expensive as well. So you also want to keep, tabs of, how much you're even consuming. Like if you're running your business, if it's just your refrigerator or freezers you need to turn on, on a daily basis, you want to monitor this. And if you're spending so much on generator, you still need lights at least at night. Firstly,
hmm
for people that
hmm
are into the cold food business, you still need light throughout the night to at least keep those guys frozen to the next day. So
Exactly.
yeah, um, I feel like, to a large extent, a lot of people still depend on electricity. Yeah, maybe if you go down to the rural areas, that's where you probably see people that are still burning charcoals, kerosene, and of course, very few of them, use your generators. So yeah, but that's what they say it is. So I guess that's what it is.
Well, that's what they say it is. I mean, as far as we are sitting here, these are just estimates. I mean, the numbers could actually be a lot higher. I mean that 85.2%, the numbers probably could be a lot higher than that. Cisco Delgado says it's up to 90%, please. I mean, I mean, no, think about it, Daisy. I mean, looking at a lot of places. Let's even talk about Lagos. Let's even leave other areas in Nigeria first
Yeah,
of all. Let's even talk about Lagos. A lot of places do not have prepaid meters. That is just the truth about the situation. So, should I now factor in every other area in Nigeria, other states in Nigeria, and the
yeah.
level of penetration when it comes to the prepaid meters and all that. So this 85.2% is
It's not
an
not.
I mean, and you just wonder, okay, well, how did they put all these figures together? I mean, what was the base and all
Yeah.
that? But let's just work with the numbers that we have right now in front of us. And also, let us look at the challenges that households actually face in accessing reliable electricity, Daisy.
Okay, so I mean, there are common challenges which you already even mentioned earlier. The concern about frequent outage, the blackout. You have the whole day might go by and you hear that national grid is down, and that's where you have to probably switch to maybe your for people who are able to buy inverters that with high with batteries that have that has with it, batteries like stronger, bigger batteries that can
Mm,
carry their fleet.
right.
Yeah, those people might not be affected when this kind of cases happen, and of course people that have generators. But apart from the set of persons, there are other people who solely depend on this light on a daily basis, right? Then of course there is the increase in tariff. I mean, it got so bad there that they had to like segment everybody. Certain areas fall under the band A, band B, and all the way to band E. And trust me, the A guys are not having it funny. Like I
And
said
a lot of
previously,
areas are being migrated to band A right now.
yes. Like why even put a lot of people under that category? Because it's expensive, right? And that's why initially I said to the best of my knowledge, the majority of people in my cycle had to like switch to prepaid because they get to monitor what they're consuming. So the government NEPA official doesn't come and give you a bill that you're wondering is just fan and AC or my laptop that I use only when I'm at home, right? And all of this affects us, right? Because for some persons who are always at home working, you need light to work most times. I mean, this, to the best of my knowledge, this survey was even carried out based on within the residential areas. I'm
Mm,
guessing there's been a demand to review the prices, right? Because like I said, most persons are probably now working from home because companies had to fall to the hybrid mode of working because of cost of transportation. So, I mean, this survey, yeah, this was one of the reasons why the survey was carried out. And like I said previously, some of the challenges we're experiencing are, no inconsistent light, high cost and energy, and of course, there are some areas that have limited access to the national grid as well. So
right.
all of this seem to be a challenge for, you know, households currently, and that's why
In,
this is even being looked into.
indeed, indeed. I mean, it's a Thursday, so Daisy decided to take us back in time where she said, the NEPA officials. It's been a while. I actually heard that it's a Thursday, Daisy, so I can understand perfectly. And I also reminds me of the never expect power always, the acronym that we had to come up with back then. Because for those who grew up, in the 90s, 2000s, or even before then, you know how power was. It was
Yeah.
epileptic pro max. Let's round up with some messages here. Sister Delgado says, it's very crazy. Most of these discos don't even know that metering every customer will reduce their workloads. Funnily enough, they always tell you that the prepaid meter is attached to community transformers. Um, Tyre says, with the recent change of ministers, I think the current minister of power was lucky not to have been replaced because the grid collapsing, band categorization, and poor metering of the nation has been poor all around. I need to leave band A. I need to leave band A with situation. It's suffocating. It's suffocating. Government, let me breathe. You owe
I'm
us that
sorry.
responsibility. From never expect power always, your problem has changed. And finally, who's talking to us here? Um, okay, there's no name attached to it. Message says, I think the percentage figure of 85.2% on estimated and 14.8% on prepaid given is assumed, as there are some not using electricity power from the discos at all. My neighbor is not using their power. When did the NBS do a research on this? Exactly what we alluded to
Yeah, I
in
was
terms
even
of,
trying
I
to
mean,
like when
these
this
numbers,
happened. Yeah.
estimated and all that. But anyways, we are where we are because of the things that we do. Thank you so much for your messages. And thank you so much, Daisy, for coming through this morning. Always a
Thank you
pleasure
so
having you.
much for having me.
All right. Have a
Right.
great Thursday ahead. And
You
keep
too.
tuned
Thank
to
you very
Smooth
much.
98.1. So much more to come. More great music is coming your way. We'll get into the papers on Freshly Pressed at 7:30. You definitely don't want to miss all the fireworks. Keep it tuned.